Well, you guys, riding that 7.5 girl board kind of made me want to ride smaller boards again. And it also gave me some venture fever. So I picked myself up a set of the raw 5.2 lows. So there's nothing fancy about these. They're the regular base plate, they're the regular axle and kingpin. And I also picked myself up, for comparison, a set of the Thunder 147. So these are also 8-inch Thunders. Now, just looking at them, they've got a bit of a different aesthetic, but to the untrained eye, you know, they don't look too different, and they both just seem like a low 8-inch truck. But one of the first things actually you should know is that the Venture Low is not actually a light truck. It's coming in at, I believe, 367, whereas the Thunder is coming in at 335. So that's over 30 grams difference. The Thunder is quite a light truck. As for height, these ones are 48.3 and these ones are 49.7. So there's about almost 1.5 millimeter difference in height. And this is the Thunder High. They no longer have a Thunder Low. So first off, let's get a little more look at the aesthetics of these. Like, these are a good looking truck. I loved these. I rode the Ventures all the time, Venture Lows, but I rode the 5.0s. I love the red bushing. I love the gold detail on the hardware. I just think they're a sharp looking truck. The Thunders, by comparison, are a little plain Jane, but they're still a good looking trim truck. And I love the blue bushings. Now, why would two trucks that are so similar have such a difference in weight? Well, I think one of the things, the Thunders are missing a lot more right here in the bottom. And when you look at them like this, so I'm looking at the two hangers and I can clearly see that this has a lot more meat on it. This swoops out a lot more, whereas the Thunder's really trim. It's the same thing right here. There's more meat on this hanger right here than there is right here. So the Venture is actually just generally a more meaty truck. Bushing style is different. The Ventures have a barrel style bushing, so it's a straight bushing on the bottom. The Thunders have a conical bushing. That means it curves down. So that's gonna improve the responsiveness of the Thunder. And Ventures are not known for their turn, whereas Thunders actually have a pretty tight turn. Anyways, I'm really excited to get these set up. I'm gonna start out with the Ventures. And again, I got the ones that aren't light because I actually like the weight of a truck right around 360. I find it's kind of a nice heft. And I wanted to have a board that's low, but that still has a hefty feeling and gives me a solid kickflip. So that's why I went with the Ventures. Yep, kickflips are doing okay, but it's been actually ages since I've been on these Ventures. So I rode these for about a week and then switched to Thunders. But first, let's get into how these felt. It took a couple sessions to get used to the Ventures. They felt kind of heavy at first, but once I got the pop and the timing, I really started to enjoy jumping up and over stuff. I was just genuinely enjoying the crisp, snappy feel of a Venture, and the flat ground session here can kind of attest to that. The pinch on Ventures is really nice. It's super responsive with a great pop out. I think part of the reason it's so good is because they're so nice and low. There's a fair bit more base plate on a Venture, which makes them pretty good for slides too. Like, you get that base plate sliding instead of your wheels sticking. The wheelbase is not as bad as I expected it to be. I definitely can't ride away from some of my under-rotated tricks as well as I can on, say, an Indy, but I generally found that it just wasn't as bad as I expected. Now, I've also been riding wheels that are like 51 or smaller. However, anytime I go off any kind of drop, there's a good chance I'm going to get wheel bite. Hey, come on, that was a drop for me, you guys. The turn is also not as bad as I think a lot of people make it out to be. It's not quite as sharp as an Indy or a Thunder, but there's definitely enough turn. Like, I didn't find myself lacking too much. Only occasionally when I was trying to make like a really sharp carve around something would I kind of get a bit of wheel bite. But for the most part, it wasn't a problem. I was also able to ride them pretty loose, probably looser than I should be for how wheel bitey they can be. They're also pretty decent for manuals. Okay, those weren't really much in the way of manuals, but what I can tell you is that if you have a deck with a lot of fingers of flat or pretty mellow kicks or a short wheelbase, these are nice for manuals. But when you get a really steep deck, they hit the tipping point pretty quick. You find that like the balance point on them is really small. You're either tipping that way or going back down. So they're okay, but it depends on your deck mostly. Now the grind on Ventures is not my favorite. It's a little bit tinny and hard compared to say an Indy or a Thunder, which I think both have really nice grinds. So here I am getting the first skate on these ledges. I think I just kissed the ledges with some wax and they ground straight away. You can't tell, but it was actually too wet for me to really dive into skating those ledges, but maybe another day. Okay, kingpin clearance. A lot of people complain about kingpin clearance on these trucks, and that's because there isn't any. However, it's not that hard, and it doesn't take very long to get them to smith grind. Check it out. Backside now. See right there? See that now? Alright, so my point is it can be done and it doesn't take that long to break in. Also, they have a really nice smith grind because of how low they are. So yeah, not that bad. And when it comes to the Thunders, they're honestly not any better. They have like maybe 1 millimeter more kingpin clearance, but you're still gonna have to grind the kingpin down to be able to do smiths. Alright, well I was really enjoying these trucks and I wasn't even ready to switch them, but I thought, you know what, I gotta move on with the video so I can get some content out, so I did switch to the Thunders. Here they are. I've been on these for like, I think almost 3 weeks now. I actually spent a lot more time on these and we'll get into that. Okay, first off, the wheelbase on the Thunders is maybe about 1/16 of an inch wider than the Ventures, so they're actually pushed out a little bit further. One nice thing is you can actually get a skate key to work on these. I mean, not super well, but it works compared to the Ventures. Now, it's crazy how much switching the trucks changed how this board feels. I didn't think there was going to be very much difference between the Ventures and the Thunders. They're both low, they both have kind of wide wheelbases, but I was shocked. I actually hated the Thunders in the first couple of sessions. They felt way too light, they made my board feel like pointy, flatter, just everything about it felt different. I felt like I had way less control. I couldn't get the board to suck up to my feet because I had totally gotten used to the weighty feel of the Venture Pop, and these just felt totally wimpy by comparison. I was rocket flipping all over the place and I couldn't get up onto ledges easily. I felt super sketched out about that, especially things like backside 50-50s or like a grind on a flat bar. The only thing that felt immediately better on these trucks was manuals.
Yeah, he's gone.
Like, I mean instantly better. I had never done any of those 3 tricks. I mean, maybe I could have done them before. It's just a board, but it just felt so much better. That was the first thing I gravitated towards was manuals. So one thing I did notice was the turning really kind of sucked on the Thunders right away. It was really cold out, But I had the Ventures way looser than these Thunders, and I had these Thunders, you know, cranked almost all the way, and it just was not adequate. I felt like I couldn't turn at all. Now, 3 weeks later, they have actually broken in, but I've also gotten used to the tightness, so they're still not as loose as the Ventures. When I tried the Ventures again, they felt way too loose, and I'm actually really enjoying having my trucks a little bit tighter. But that's almost a whole topic for another video. Okay, so in the first couple days of skating these, I did film a flat ground session of a lot of the tricks that were starting to feel really good to me. But a few of the things that were not feeling good, like kick flips, backside flips, half cab flips, were still I just didn't have the timing of Thunders yet. However, once I got used to the timing, I actually started to love these trucks. And the lightness, the fact that they're 30 grams lighter than the Ventures, actually started to feel really good. I got used to the timing and they started to have that hefty Thunder pot feel that I was expecting. It just felt light in comparison to the Ventures. But as you can see in these clips, I'm really starting to get used to these trucks. Wow. Also, once I got used to the timing, my pop really started to come back. In fact, I think I actually have better pop on the Thunders because they're a tiny bit higher. They still have that, you know, large wheelbase setback pop that gives me a really snappy, responsive pop. And they're also lighter than the Ventures. So tiny bit taller, tiny bit lighter, actually ends up equaling a lot more pop, I think.
Good thing I've been doing them squats. Oh, that was high. Come on, washed up pro.
Okay guys, take it easy. That ledge there is taller than it looks. I'm sure that's at least Santa Monica Courthouse ledge height. Someone tell me in the comments, what's the height of the Santa Monica Courthouse ledge? I'll go measure that ledge and we'll see where we're at. Okay, as for pinch, these aren't bad. I mean, Thunders are known for having really good pinch, but I actually think the Venture Lows had better pinch than the Thunder 147s. Now I also really like these Thunders for transition.
think that was like every trick I can do.
Yes, I finished the ramp. Okay, so this has probably been a pretty long video. This is what happens when I don't put a video out for a month. I have a month's worth of footage to all put into one video. So if you put a gun to my head and said, Ben, Ventures or Thunders? I think I definitely choose Thunders. I feel like I have a lot more pop and control on this truck. I think I just genuinely skate a little bit better on it. But I did love the Ventures, and I'm going to go back to them and get used to them again and ride them on a couple more boards because, you know, I've got some other video ideas that I need to ride them for. But anyways, hopefully you guys got something out of this video. If you've been wondering what the difference between the Thunder 147 and the Venture Low is, hopefully this clears some things up. I think they're both fantastic trucks. Let me know in the comments what you think, what your favorite trucks are. And thanks for watching. I got nothing more to say. That's, you know, if I keep talking, I'm not going to be able to sit down and edit this video for you guys that, you know, has been so long in the making. Hopefully you have a dry, warm place to skate. Or at least a dry, cold place to skate. Or anything to skate. If you do, go do it. Thanks for watching.